go for this introductory class. Uh, I'm planning to take your meat hygiene part. So in this public health, there are uh, four units. Okay, so the first unit is this milk and meat hygiene. Then the second one is veterinary epidemiology. Then the third one is veterinary zoonosis. Okay. And fourth one will be your environmental hygiene. So there are four different units. So we have to finish within this third year courses, the whole public health course. So before we begin with the meat hygiene part, so unit one as it is, there are two types, means milk hygiene and the meat hygiene part. Okay. So before we begin with the meat hygiene part, uh, for your course, I will take from unit one the meat hygiene part. Okay. So before we start, let us try to know what is this veterinary public health. Okay. So as a whole, I think you know what is veterinary science. So this means it is the subjects which deals with the health and the well-being of the animals. So, like medicine, this veterinary science, it encompasses everything from the preventative care to psychological analysis to a complex surgical procedures. So, in other way, it is also said that veterinary science, it is the art or science of medical, surgical, dental, and therapeutic practices to all types of animals, from domestic pets to wildlife and farm animals. So it is very important part in helping monitoring disease and keeping the animal care. That is as a whole veterinary sciences. So let us try to know what is public health. So you are new to these subjects, right? So according to WHO Experts Committee on Public Health Association 1952, they have defined public health as the science and art of preventing disease. Okay, 1 point. Then prolonging life and promoting health and efficiency through organized community efforts. So, this is the meaning of public health as a whole, not veterinary public health, okay, as a whole, public health. That is science and art of preventing disease, prolonging life, and promoting health and efficiency through organized community efforts. So, in public health, okay, there are two types of medicine. So, that is human medicine and general medicine. So, what do we call human medicine? So, human medicine, they generally it deals with the disease of the individual patient. Got it? Individual patients are dealing. So, when it is in that type, we call it human medicine. So when we call it general medicine, this is a part of science dealing with the individual patients. That is human medicine and general medicines. Both they are dealing with the individual patients. But when we talk about public health, in contrast to the human medicine and the general medicine, we means they are dealing with the health related problem of individual which cannot be resolved or prevented without the assistance from a group of people or community. So when we study the health of an individual in a public or in a group or in a community, we call that one as public health. Got it? So the use of community resources become necessary to manage the health-related difficulties of individuals in the community. So those problems falls within the domain of public health. So, for example, like diarrhea in children, okay, it cannot be managed unless the concerted efforts are made by sanitation engineers, community administration, and the family to ensure sanitary water supply to the community. So in that case, diarrhea, we can call this one as a public health problem. We cannot just go for individual because sometimes when there is an outbreak of cholera or all those infantile diarrhea and all these things, the treatment or the carrying out of the case that has to be done in a public, okay, in a community. So public health practice, therefore, they are different from those general medicine or what we call the human medical practices in two ways. Okay, so the first concern is that number one, the unit of concern in public health practice is community. Always take a person individually. In public health, we have to take in a community or a group of people and not by individuals. Then the second one is that the trust of the problem solving is on the preventative aspects rather than a curative. So in general medicine or human medicine or this individual practice, we go for curative, isn't it? But when we concern for the health of the public, we always go for preventive rather than the curative one. So the group of individuals, it may consist of families, tribes, or persons by some geographical boundaries, such as colleges, classes, towns, etc. So we will of the town or the villages or the community as a whole for this type of prevention for the health of the public for any disease. For example, right now we are facing COVID problem, isn't it? So in different parts of the states of India or in little states of their roll number in the chat box. So if you don't write there, you might be marked absent. Okay, that is your attendance. I used to keep all your attendance in the um, file. Okay, the chat box I used to call it towns and cities, and within the towns and cities also there are different localities. So right now also in Aizawl, for example, different localities are there. So within that they used to give a red zone, restricted area, confinement zone, then now we will go for veterinary public health. The one which I have given just now is public health in general. So what is veterinary public health? So veterinary public health was defined by Professor Sciences. And again, FAO, WHO, OIE, they also define this public health as contribution to the physical, mental, and social well-being of humans through an understanding and application of veterinary sciences, or WHO themselves also define public health as a field or activity which protects and advances human well-being by utilizing the combined knowledge and resources of all those concerned with human and animal health and their interrelationship. So, veterinary public health deals with the health for the human as well as the health of the animal because more than 75% of the human disease are zoonotic. That means the disease which can be transmissible from animals to human as well as from human to animals. That's why in order to protect the health of the human, the people, okay, we have to protect the health of the animal themselves first so that the health of the human also will be able to be promoted. Okay, because from animal products meat, milk, and all these products humans are taking, isn't it? So we have to get a healthy meat, isn't it? Healthy milk and milk products, all these things, because we, the human being, used to consume. And apart from that, the pet animals which we are living with them, domesticated animals, if they are not healthy, then the human being can be infected through different type of genetic disease. So that is why in veterinary public health, these are the only subjects, so to say, from the veterinary sciences which can link the subjects of the human, that is human medicine, as well as from the veterinary sciences. Is it clear? We are the one who are making a bridge between the health of the public as well as the health of the animals. Then, conventionally, veterinary public health as a topic, they cover different areas, that is food production and safety, then zoonosis control, then environmental contamination, then role of animals in the society. So these are the different topics which under which veterinary public health we are covering. Then these aspects of public health, it relates to the effort, services, and inputs of the veterinarians for finding solutions to human health problems of the animal origin. So now that is in a nutshell for the introductory part of the veterinary public health as a whole. Okay, so this veterinary public health, it is a link between the human medicine as well as the veterinary medicine. So let us go to meat hygiene. So after that, do you have any questions? Anyone? Don't hesitate to ask any doubt that you are having. Okay. In the meantime, also you can interrupt me whenever you feel like. So let us see what is meat. So meat means they are edible part, that is muscles and offals of the food animals which consume mainly grass and other edible crops. For example, the food animals are cattle, sheep, goat, horses, pigs, etc. And this, or we can define meat as ruminants convert food materials into a good source of protein and energy for human consumption called meat. So besides that, poultry and fish, they are also other source of animal protein. So meat and meat products, they are important source of high quality nourishment for the human being. So meat is a good source of protein with the high biological values and essential amino acids that requires for the body growth, and fat which provides heat and energy. So meat is a rich source of B vitamins, different type of vitamin B, and it also contains amount of vitamin A, phosphorus, iron, and copper. So let us see what is meat hygiene. So meat hygiene, it is a branch of the larger subject of the food hygiene, both having objectives in common. That means meat hygiene is under food hygiene, which comes under veterinary public health. Okay. So meat hygiene, they are the professional examination and judgment upon the meat of the slaughtered animal in order to define its fitness or otherwise for the human consumption. So meat hygiene, it must be ensured during transportation and collecting centers in the abattoir. Then as far as to the consumer house, that means from farm to fork. That means we are rearing the animals in the farm, isn't it? And from the farm, when the animals with the market age, the slaughtering age, then they will be transported into the slaughterhouse. Then after that, they will slaughter, or they will be transported into the market. And then from the market, they will bring to the abattoir, that is the slaughterhouse. And from there, the slaughtered animals, the meat, it will be again sell in the market. Then the people will buy, and then it will reach the consumer house, isn't it? And after reaching the house, and they will cook, and after that it will reach onto the table. That means all those activities, which encompasses all the activities from the farm to the table, is called, is, or what to say, that is covered by this meat hygiene. So it also includes supervision and control over the management of the slaughterhouses, meat markets, meat shops, and other meat industries. And besides that, it lays down instruction to human slaughter of animals for the proper production, storage, and preservation of meat, and then construction of the slaughterhouses and the meat markets, taking into the account hygienic consideration and proper transport of the meat. So everything right from farm to fork, fork means the consumer's table. Everything what we have to do, we have to maintain a hygienic measures as far as possible in order to get a good and quality and hygienic meat onto the consumer's table. So that thing is covered by this meat hygiene. So there are different objectives under this meat hygiene. The first one is to ensure that disease-free meat is supplied to the consumer. This is very important. Whatever meat we are slaughtering, we are marketing, it should be a disease-free meat. Means all meat intended for the human consumption shall be produced, it should be stored, transported, and marketed under hygienic condition. Then the second objective is that to ensure that no disease spreads among the meat consumer. We should not get any zoonotic disease by consuming the meat. Third is that to trace the source of disease by carrying out proper examination of animal before and during slaughter. This means antemortem and postmortem examination of the slaughtered animals. We should be able to trace out all the source of the disease during that time. The fourth is to control the spread of disease, particularly those having a definite life cycle, that is heart disease and all. Then the fifth is to facilitate honest butchers and retailers, those who did well, okay, those who maintain hygienic conditions, those butchers and retailers will also should facilitate and honors to them. Then the sixth is to ensure the implementation of the method of human slaughter. Means while slaughtering the animals, we should maintain a human methods. We should not just kill them very, what to say, mercilessly. Okay, so that thing we have to keep in mind. The seventh is to promote the trade of quality meat and the meat products across the country that conforms to the international standards, thereby eliminating the risks of rejection of foreign containment of the meat. Number eight, to check misrepresentation and adulteration of the meat and the meat products during its handling and preparation. This is very, very important. We should not adulterate the meat and the meat products. Means replacing the lower quality, higher quality of the meat with the lower quality. Okay, or those things we should not do it, or mishandling of the meat. Number nine, we should expect that there is no falsification in labeling, including grading and the red marking where it is practiced. That means while labeling the products, all the meat products, ingredients that which we are keeping there, that should be up to the mark. We should not do any falsification in that. Tenth, to ensure that flesh and organs condemned during inspection shall be disposed of in a harmless and, where possible, in an economic manner. So, in this case, all the meat and the meat products and those which we condemn after that, okay, the flesh and organs which we condemn, that should be disposed of. We should not just throw here and there, okay? Otherwise, that will be a good source for the contamination as well as for spreading of the zoonotic disease. So it should be disposed of in a scientific manner. So all these are the objectives of the meat hygiene. So now this is your syllabus, elements of meat inspection. So under these elements of meat inspection, all these things comes. Okay. An inspection of all the meat animals, poultry and horses consists of the following essential parts. First one elements is sanitation, then antemortem inspection, postmortem inspection, control and restriction of the condemned material, then product inspection, then laboratory inspection, then marketing and labeling. So the first one is sanitation. This means every part of the meat production premises is inspected for sanitary standards from livestock plant and cages to the water supply, equipment use, sewage disposal, lockers, restroom, everywhere from farm to fork, where we are handling the meat, where we are handling the farm animals in the farm, everything we have to maintain sanitary practices. Then the second element is antemortem inspection. Antemortem is a pre-slaughter inspection. So on the day of slaughter, all the animals are examined, and those which are unfit animals, they are eliminated from the group to be slaughtered. So animal, it may be deemed unfit if they show any sign of disease or other condition which lead to their carcasses condemned on the post-mortem inspection. You please write your name and your roll number in the chat box, those who come late, okay? So this is antemortem inspection. So in a separate chapter, we'll be dealing with all these things. Then the post-mortem inspection, this means carcasses and non-carcass components, they are inspected under the supervision of our veterinary medical officers. All the organs, lungs, livers, lymph nodes, spleen, heart, everything, okay, internal part and the body part, everything, it should be examined during slaughtering. Okay, as soon as possible, we should conduct this post-mortem inspection in order to get a good quality, high quality meat. Control and restriction of the condemned material. This one I have said just now, it should be in a hygienic manner. Then product inspection. So all the products, meat products that which we have, for example, sausage, cane meat, cured meat, all these things, the ingredients and their amount, it should be approved, as well as handling and storage of the processed meat products. Then laboratory inspection, this means now here we have written FSIS. So we are also having here in India FSSAI. Okay, they are. It has a several inspection laboratory used to analyze ingredients used in the meat production, sampling of the finished products, and product or tissue suspected for of containing unauthorized ingredients or drugs residues. Everything it is checked by this FSSAI in India. Okay, or in foreign countries, FSIS. Then the fourth one is this one is marketing and labeling. Okay, marketing and labeling. So the brands and labels applied to the carcasses, processed meat, wholesale cards, edible meat by products, it should be approved by FSSAI. Then only we can sell it. Inspection label must contain the common name of the product, the name and the address of the meat processor, list of the ingredients in the descending order of their contents, the ingredients which are having more content, it should be written first, and then it should be in a descending order of their contents. The meat products from the state inspected plant, it must also bear the state approved label, which have similar requirement for those for federally inspected products. So all the labeling that which we are having in the production, that meat byproducts, it should be in an appropriate way, and that should be approved by the FSSAI. Otherwise, without the approval of the FSSAI, a person cannot market the products. It should be approved first by the FSSAI, and they should say that your products is fit for consumption by the consumer, that is by the public. So apart from those elements of the meat inspection, those seven elements, there are different terminology which is related with this meat size. Okay, so the first one is bangers. This means uh, cow which is or animal suffering from brucellosis. Those cow fails to pass Banks disease tests, they are called bangers. Then brooks, this means edible offals. Bung, these are the end part of the large intestine. In mid science, we call this one as bung. Okay. Then bobville means immature veal, less than 10 days. Then butcher cattle, this means well finished cattle that yields high quality and quantity meat. Then caul fat, CAUL, caul fat means the omental fat is also called caul fat in meat science. Then the scrotal fat is called cod fat, COD. So try to make the difference, try to know the difference, because this thing used to come in your objective, and some students used to get mixed up. caul fat, cod fat, okay, crown fat, mesentery fat is called crown fat. Lymph nodes is called clients in meat science. Then animals which are very thin for dressed beef and suitable for canning purpose by adding another ingredients and other things that are called canner. Then chopper means age used in medium flesh, not good enough to bread as a um, fat mutton. Then crip or donors, this means animals that has been hurt or crippled and unable to walk properly. They are called crip or donors. Then cull means cheaper, less desirable classes of animal. Cold blood, these are low grade steer. Dairies means any kind of dairy cow culled for milk hard is called dairies. Then extended meat, this means it is a mixture of vegetables and meat protein which is subjected to normal heat processing. So, and with this, various flavors, colors, and even fat can be added. So, when it is done like that, it is called extended meat. Then fell means animal to slaughter. Then glove fat or leaf fat means peritoneal fat. Then small pork pig is also called grumble. Then esophagus is called gullet or recent. Then the pancreas is called gut breath. Hog means castrated pig. Hog is castrated sheep. Then hippophagy, consumption of the horse meat. Then heart breath or throat breath is thymus. Lamb's fry is lamb's testicle. Lungus means those who are TB positive, tuberculin vector are called lungus. Portions means zero point 0.5 kg weight chicks used for meat purpose. And paunch, Paunch, the ruminant's stomach is also called paunch in meat science. Pluck, all those trachea, lung, heart, liver is called pluck. Then synthetic meat or prefabricated meat, these are the artificial meat like production with a controlled texture, flavor, color, and nutritive value according to the meat. And this can be substituted for meat or can economically be used to extend the bulk of the meat. Then runners or small intestine. Abomasum is called wheat, pig skin, grind. Then unborn calf, fetal calf is called sling. The diaphragm is called skirt. Then any liver affected with ectoparasite is called scales. Then carcass of unburnt or stillborn calf is called slingbill. Then spring lamb is good quality grain fed lamb under 8 months of age. Then stag or sac means male animal castrated after attaining of sexual maturity. So larynx is also called trapple. Then cattle, sheep, lamb improperly fed, giving inferior yield or low quality milk is called wooden. Then the deer or the hare meat is called venison. Kangaroo meat is called veniso, SOO. Okay, so that is all different terminology, common terms which are used in relation to the meat science. So do you have any questions from all these things? So this terminology, okay, try to study nicely. Okay, so for today, what we have learned are the different elements of the meat inspection, that is sanitation, antemortem inspection, postmortem inspection, control and restriction of the condemned material, product inspection, laboratory inspection, and marketing and labeling. So these are the 7 elements of the meat inspection. So we also learn about different objectives of meat hygiene, and we learned what is meat hygiene, then what is meat. As we have said, meat hygiene, they are branch of the larger subject of the food hygiene. So keep in mind that one. And now in today's class, we also learn about what is public health, isn't it? What is human medicine or general medicine, then the difference between public health and veterinary public health. In public health alone, they deal only with the health of the public in a group or in a community. But in veterinary public health, we are the link, or these are the study of the health of the public as well as for the animals, that is veterinary public health. So this is the first chapter under this uh, course, unit 1 under the meat hygiene. So, do you have any questions from here? Anyone? Hello? Uh, I will give all these lectures to your CR, okay, and then they will give it to you again to all the class, okay. So before we end the class, I would like to tell you about the syllabus, what comes under this meat hygiene. Do you have any questions from the lectures from today's lecture? Anyone? Did you all write your name and your roll number in the chat box? Hello? I hope you all have
Yes, ma'am.
written your. Okay. So I'll just show you one more thing. That is your syllabus. Okay. Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So uh, I just scroll up. Okay. So the one which we had done just now is number one, serial number one, elements of meat inspection and meat hygiene practices. Then second chapter is pathological conditions associated with the transport of food animals. Then third one is hygiene in abattoir, that is abattoir is slaughterhouse, okay, and the meat plants. Then fourth is detection and condition or disease and the judgment during antemortem and postmortem inspection. Then examination of lymph nodes, then foodborne infection and intoxication associated with food of animal origin, then meat as a source of disease transmission, that means meat-borne disease, source of contamination of the meat and method of carcass decontamination, then classification of the low risk and the high risk material generated in an abattoir and its hygienic disposal, then tenth, speciation of meat. This means differentiation of meat. Okay, how you have to differentiate pork with buffalo meat, pork with mm, beef or kara beef with buffalo meat, all those things. Okay. Then animals welfare and public health issues, inspection of poultry and aquatic food, fish for human consumption, occupational health hazard in abattoir and meat plants, toxic residues like pesticides, antibiotics, metals and hormones in food and associated health results. So these are the different topics for your syllabus, which comes under uh, with hygiene and the unit one. Okay. So these are the portions which I'm planning to take from unit one, and we will let you know who are the teachers who are going to take another units and courses for your class.